Welcome everybody to another episode of Into the Stratusphere. I'm your girl Cindy G. How you guys are doing? Yours truly is doing pretty well and keeping up with everything going on in the world of wrestling. I mean, we are a couple days away from AEW's All Out, and plus we just had two pay-per-views that happened this past weekend. New Japan Pro Wrestling Summer Struggle finale at Jingu Stadium and WWE's Payback, and plus other unexpected surprises that took place, like from Monday Night Raw to WWE NXT, and of course Impact Wrestling. Like, wow, what's next? A surprise that's going to be taking place on tonight's AEW Dynamite and on Friday Night SmackDown. Anything that goes, you guys, like when it comes to like surprises and like the oh my god moments. But hey, it's all good and we're here for you guys. So, just starting off with like backwards to forwards on what's going to be the topic for today's episode. Again, the usual recap of Impact Wrestling. Plus, I'll be giving you guys my picks and also the overall thoughts and update regarding the IWGP Jr Tag Team Champion. Plus, a quick recap from New Japan Strong. And also a brief recap of like the event that I've gone to last Friday, which is AEW Heels. Well, kind of like a inside / my thoughts overall, you guys. And also results and upcoming independent wrestling show from across the state / across the country as well, you guys. So before I get into all that, let me go ahead and give you guys my plug and also the Bulletcast plug. So you guys can follow me at Twitter, Instagram, and on my YouTube channel at simply_C_OK. That's SIMPLY_C_OK. And you guys can follow the Bulletcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube channel at the Bulletcast or simply Bulletcast. And whenever you guys are listening to, whether it's Anchor FM, Apple, Google Play, Spotify, or other podcast platform. Anyway, you guys, so enough of the plugs. Let's go ahead and kick things off with the results from past independent wrestling show that took place this past weekend. So, on Saturday, August 29th, Synergy Pro Wrestling presents Heat Seeker just had a show at Hillsborough Township in New Jersey, where Alex Raidman defeated Kit Osborne and Mike Dell in a 2-on-1 handicap match. KTB defeated Bobby Orlando in a singles match. Eric Hovis defeated Anthony Gangon, Theshot Pratt, and MV Young in a 4-way match. TJ Crawford defeated The Whisper and Casey Cattell to retain the Synergy Cruiserweight Crown Champion. Joe Gacy defeated Arcadia in a last man standing match where Joe Gacy is now staying with Synergy Pro. The team of the Apostle of Chaos consists of Chris Benning and Logan Black defeated Austin Luke and Dylan McKay in a tag team match. Charles Mason defeated Elias Taylor for the number 1 contendership match for the Synergy Cruiserweight Crown Champion. Matt Vertigo defeated Joey Silver, Kip Steven, and Lucky 13 in a fatal 4-way match. Ring of Honor star LSG defeated Mac McIntosh, and Brandon Cook defeated Frightmare to become the new Synergy Champion. So congratulations to all the winners and new champions. And you guys can check out Synergy Pro Wrestling on Fight TV. Alpha One Wrestling presents Escape from Your Basement just took place at the Moose Lodge in Oshawa, Ontario, Canada, where the Space Pirates consist of Shane Saber and Space Monkey defeated Fight or Flight consists of Gabriel Froeza and Von Vertigo for the No. 1 contendership match for the Alpha One Tag Team Champion. Jesse V with Mark Wheeler defeated Safe Travis Moore, and Jesse V defeated Mike Forte. Impact Wrestling star Ethan Page defeated the Diamond Tiger Kobe Durst. Steve Brown defeated Bret Michael David, Holden Albright, and Jody Threat in a 4-way hardcore elimination match to retain his Alpha One Outer Limits champion. And Mark Wheeler with Jesse V defeated Impact Wrestling star Josh Alexander to retain the Alpha Male Champion. You guys can check it out very soon on SmartMart Video, or you can check out on the Twitch replay if you guys sign up on Ethan Page's Patreon. So congratulations to the winners and champions. Anyway, so let's go ahead and go on to the upcoming event for this weekend across the state or slash country or whichever. So on Sunday, September 6th, Absolute Intense Wrestling presents I Assure You, We're Open. That's going to be take place at the Celebration Plaza Amphitheater in Indianapolis, Indiana, where 40 Acres will be taking on the Young Stud in a tag team match. Rip City Shooter will be taking on Second Gear Crew with Fonzie in a 6-man tag match. Former WWE superstar Swoggle will be taking on Levi Everett. Eric Stevens will be taking on Lee Moriarty. Impact Wrestling star Ethan Page will be taking on New Japan Pro Wrestling star Filthy Tom Lawler. Philly Marino Experience will be defending their AIW Tag Team match against 2 Infinity and Beyond in the final showdown. Trey Lamar will be taking on Benjamin Carter, Johnny Patch, and Chase Oliver in a fatal 4-way match. And Dominic Garrini will be taking on Calvin Tankman. And you guys can check out AIW on independentwrestling.tv or on demand very soon. And afterwards, Game Changer Wrestling presents Bring It Out will be taking place at the same venue at the Celebration Plaza Amphitheater in Indianapolis, Indiana, where AJ Gray will be taking on Mance Warner, ACH will be taking on Blake Christian, Ricky Shane Page will be taking on Matthew Justice in a non-title match, Alex Zane will be taking on Benjamin Carter, Dirty Daddy Chris Dickinson will be taking on Alex Colon, Tony Deppen will be taking on Calvin Tankman, and AEW star Joey Janela will be taking on Effie. So you guys can definitely check it out on Fight.tv. And if you guys have any more shows you want me to promote or give results or an upcoming shows, please feel free to DM me on Twitter or on Instagram. Again, simply _C_OK. Alright guys, so that is it for the results and upcoming independent wrestling show. So let's go ahead and go on to my brief experience with the event that I just attended last Friday, which is the AEW Heels event. So I know that I did touch base on my thoughts of the AEW Heels charging $50 yearly, and I did touch base on it on my Instagram page under Instagram TV, giving you guys my 2 cents. So for those of you are new listeners to me, so I'm going to give you guys my brief opinion about it. So when they released the pricing for the AEW Heel event, I was kind of having a mixed feelings about it because I did join the past 2 AEW Heels event before they announced that they're actually going to be doing the event, but then charging people $50. The first event I've gone to was the launch party, and I only have to pay like $20 to $25 if I recalled. But then on the second event, I just automatically signed up and got my spot for free, and that's it. So I was pretty much pretty tad disappointed with that they're charging those. And then I know it has been an uproar on social media with the charging of $50, and there was a lot of price points and also mainly the criticism regarding the AEW women's division too. So I did give my brief thoughts about it. I wish that they would give kind of a monthly charge instead of a yearly charge. You can only pay $5 every month without a problem. You can cancel every time. Then, of course, you're locked in for a year. But then when I did the math, $50 divided by 12, that's $4.16, rounded up, of course. Math is not my forte. Just saying, y'all. But, hey, I did take the chance and I did sign up. I did miss the the event before the last event because of like I was going through like budgeting and whatnot, and like I was kind of like a bit afraid of like, you know, the criticism that I'm going to be getting, because I sometimes don't take criticism too lightly, especially in the world of like the internet wrestling community or like the wrestling community itself. Like we have like more of like a strong opinion, rather if it's like in favor or in favor for it too. So that was kind of like my concern that was going into it. But then when they announced that they're going to be doing a next event, I promised myself secretly that let me go ahead and join in the AEW Heels and see what's going on. So I sign up, I pay my $50, which of course, I want to say this, it's worth money well spent. It's better than like paying like what, $125 for like a virtual meet and greet for a virtual SummerSlam access or something like that. But when I look at the website for AEW Heels, all I see is like you have your profile set up, dashboards, announcements, also like videos that is not released to the public, only exclusively for AEW Heels, like the giveaways to like the behind the scenes, everything, especially interacting with other AEW Heels member, which is just either the AEW's fan or wrestling fan as a whole too. So I really liked the website a lot, and I did like how they did more approachable, especially with the event itself. So the event, they started right on time, because let me tell you, the first time I went on my first ever AEW Heels event for the launch party, they were 15 minutes late, which I can understand because sometimes when it comes to meetings and conferences, they start a few minutes late due to like a technical issues or whatever the circumstance it is. And that's fine. I'm like more used to it. But for this event, they started right away, and it started off with like, you know, when you come into the Zoom conference room, music is playing and you're kind of like dancing around. Like, it's great to see all the other AEW Heels, like female fans out there, and men, of course. There's some gentlemen there too, dancing like to pop music like Kasha, Christina Aguilera, to Rihanna, to Destiny Childs. It was kind of like a dance party. And then, of course, that's when you have some of the AEW women's stars that attended the event. Like Vicky Guerrero was there, Nyla Rose was there, Leva Bates was there, Lexi Nair, Jen Decker was there. I miss Jen. And shout out to her for thank you for checking up on me, see if I'm okay from the wildfire. I really do appreciate it, Jen. It really means a lot. Also, who else was there? Oh yeah, Joshua was there. Chris Statlander was there. Also, Abaddon was there, but they had their cameras turned off. But you know, they were there because their name popped up. Also, honey, to quote Lovely T, Anna Jay was there. Oh my god. When she was there, she has that evil look because, of course, she is part of the Dark Order. So I was like, oh boy, she's there. And Brandy is the host of the event too. So anyway, so Brandy popped up and then she started the event right away to cover up what are going to be the fun events. So the event for the AEW Heels is like a licensed psychologist named Dr. Candice Franco, who is talking about the whole like how to manage your stress, especially when it comes to chronic stress, especially during this pandemic, and also other like craziness has been going on, you know, with the whole social injustice. By the way, Black Lives Matter no matter what. Also, this whole like situation with the speaking out movement, which is the Me Too movement in wrestling, which I'm not gonna go in there because that's gonna be, I don't want to talk about, like that's like a whole other topic. You guys can check it out on my Instagram TV, on my Instagram page, and everything that is going on in the world too. Also, you have is like a Q&A session with Big Swole, and also like giveaways and announcement about the merchandise, and also tutorials by AEW's head seamstress, Sandra Gray, which I'm going to touch base on it briefly. So, of course, you have the psychiatrist, Dr. Candice Franco. She did an incredible job, like, you know, showing like how can you handle stress, especially during this time, especially like the definition of a true burnout. Like, I know all of us has been going through a lot in our lives, like feeling stressed, leading up to like a severe burnout, overwhelming, insomnia, everything. And it actually helps a lot too. So I learned so much, especially from yours truly. I've been very vocal when it comes to mental health, especially anxiety. And stress is like my worst enemy ever, you guys, like no joke. So if you guys already follow me for a while, like you know that like last year was my, let's just say, not my good year, to say at least. You guys can go to my YouTube channel. Like I did touch base like from past updates videos, especially the one from last August where I did reveal about what happened to me and revealing more about my mental health too. So it is something that I took it very seriously and learned like what I can do to better myself and especially for others also. And also, she did give a website, so if you guys wanted to look for help, it's totally up to you. By the way, non-sponsor. Check out psychologytoday.com so you guys can look for like different resources across your area. So just wanted to throw that out there. Anyway, followed by that, you have is a Q&A session from Big Swole. And it was really nice getting to know more from Big Swole. She did talk about like how she got into wrestling to like how she got her name Big Swole, which Big Swole did touch base that when her, Nicole Savoy, Shayna Baszler did team me up together, and it's based on like you know Big Swole's strength and her muscle. That's why they got the nickname Big Swole. And then Nicole's like, "Can I be Little Swole?" And she's like, "Yeah, go ahead." And then Shayna, of course, Medium Swole, and then Ruby Riott, Baby Swole, of course. So that's how she got the name Swole. And I'm glad that my question has been answered because I did submit a question to the AEW Heels dashboard, you know. And my question to Big Swole was, who is your biggest influencer slash inspiration? And she says her mother. And I think that her response about it was very beautiful, that she said like, you know, her mom is a very hardworking woman she ever been, and how much that you know growing up was a very tough time between her and her siblings, like finding off from like the streets to like where they are, how her mom is not giving up. So that is like a very powerful like powerful statement from Big Swole. Also, she did touch base about her illnesses too and her family. I learned so much about Big Swole, and it gives more appreciation for her and more respect for where she's at till this day, like working her ass off in the industry for so many years to where she's at on TV. So she is in a very incredible, down to earth human being, though. And also, like, someone did ask one other question, and I wrote down a statement which I was like, ooh. And Big Swole wrote before the Q&A end, she said, "Please don't compare to a 35-year-old company that we got started." Yep, throwing some shades, y'all, to a certain company because, you know, AEW, they're doing their thing. We don't need to worry about the other company, which y'all know what everybody's talking about. But anyway, y'all, so that was the Q&A session from Big Swole, and then next segment was the t-shirt tutorial with Sandra Gray. I only took notes because me plus crafting, it's a big hard no. I suck at it. I'm good at coloring and painting and a bit of, not too much drawing, but also I prefer to do it digitally. Like you guys saw on my Instagram page, most of it is digital art, you guys. So just want to throw it out there. But physical arts and crafts, including t-shirt, yeah, my weak point. But it's something that I could definitely like learn, and if I wanted to like, you know, ump it up a bit with my crap ton of wrestling t-shirt that I lost count, you know, I'm more than happy to like, you know, design to like design it from what I learned from Sandra Grace. So, and fun fact, like I learned so much about who she is. I mean, she started working for AEW last year, and prior to that, she was working with WWE. And her first wrestling gig as a seamstress was at WCW. And in the backstory is that when she was at a fabric store, Stable came in and she's looking for someone who can make a ring gear for Johnny B. Bad. So Sandra Grace, first wrestler that she ever made the gear was actually Johnny B. Bad. And that was freaking cool. And it's back in the early 90s. From there on, she did design a gear for the Nitro Girls, Dean Malenko, DDP, of course. I think she did for Dusty, if I'm not recall. And of course, the list goes on and on and on. And she's been in the industry for like, man, so many years. And I give so much respect for Sandra. Like she's like a very humble, down to earth person that, you know, with her hard work and her creativity, it was very mind-boggling, you guys. And I'm very impressed. So I'm very impressed with her work and her drive and everything. So I learned so much from the tutorial. I was very impressed. Like I said, I'll dabble onto it one day. But first, I gotta buy a blank black $5 t-shirt that I could get from Walmart so that I can practice. You know, practice makes perfect, you guys. Before I go gun-ho with my, I don't know how many wrestling t-shirts that I own. I have a lot of it, you guys. But anyway. And then from there on, Brandy did talk about like the discount code for one of the AEW merchandise and also the giveaway for her action figure. She already announced the winners. And after that, she did the segment to get to know each of the AEW heels. But she only got into like 5 or 6 people. Fortunately, I didn't get picked, but it's all good because if I meet Brandy, I would mark the F out, you guys. Like, no joke. Like, I would have, like, be shy or, like, you know, speechless or say something that, like, I regret, not regretfully saying, like, you know, bad thing, but kind of, like, in a nervous, kind of like I messed my word up type of way, you guys. But it's all good. Like, maybe on the next AEW heel event, if she picked me, I'll be like, oh, hi. I'll be more professional, you guys. But anyway, and then ended off with a dance party. And yeah, and that was it for the AEW Heels event. It was really nice and very, like, kind of like more of an uplifting community to all the fans out there, especially, you know, meeting new people in the World Wide Web. And, like, I was very blown away from it. And since then, I gained, like, some followers and friendship, too, from each of the AEW Heels, especially meeting a couple people virtually that kind of, like, touch base on, like, Amy Nimri and her husband, Andy, who is the co-owners of WrestleJoy. Of course, Tiffany Castellana, who is the biggest AEW fan ever and the biggest Cody fan. Also, Jackie, aka Love to Make. Also, Rachel, too. She's the biggest GCW fan. I've been shouting out a lot of people that you guys can see on Twitter. Also, Jesse David was there too. And yeah, you guys, like, I know I'm giving shout outs to everybody because I love to share the love, you guys. Like, that's how much that with AEW Heels, it actually kind of changed, you know, my perspective in wrestling. And also what it's like being a wrestling fan once again. Like, ever since signing up back in May, like on the weekend of Double or Nothing, I actually kind of have like a different mindset and different perspective when it comes to wrestling and the human being too. But I think that is like something that like I learned a lot too throughout this crazy time. But I know I'm talking over about it too. I'm looking forward to what's going to happen for the next AEW Heel events, but hey, it is worth my time and also meeting a lot of like devoted fans alike. Anyway, you guys, enough about that. Before I go into New Japan Pro Wrestling, Let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break. We're going to be hearing from Brandon from Curveballs and Chair Shots.
What's up, everyone? It's Brandon. If you love sports and wrestling like I do, then check out my other podcast, Curveballs and Chair Shots. Every Friday, me and my illustrious co-host Dominic Hobson talk the biggest news from the MLB, NFL, NBA, and so much more. We also cover some things we don't talk about here on the Bulletcast, including a weekly NXT recap. You can listen to Curveballs and Chair Shots wherever you get your podcast. Just simply search Curveballs and Chair Shots. Now let's get back to the show.
And we are back. Boy, you guys, New Japan Pro Wrestling US of A has been going strong. And they're getting ready for the upcoming show, Fighting Spirit Unleashed. So before that, let's go ahead and do a quick recap for the last episode of New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong. So in the beginning, you have is Kevin Kelly interviewing Jay White, which mad respect to Jay White for wearing the Black Lives Matter Bullet Club style t-shirt, which you guys can get it at Pro Wrestling Tee. Way to represent the whole Black Lives Matter movement, because it is still going at it, especially during the social injustice, unfairness of this era of it too. So Black Lives Matter, people, just saying. And so Kevin Kelly did interview Jay White regarding his upcoming match against Flip Gordon. And Jay White, even though it's been months since he wrestled, but he is ready for it. So it is going to be a pretty impressive main event match coming up this Friday. And of course, it's funny that Jay White was trying to give a too sweet to Kevin Kelly, but Kevin did pass on that, of course. Which, of course, Bullet Club is still the top heel out there, but I guess it's like the top heel here in US of A. Anyway, so main commentator you have is Kevin Kelly and Alex Kozlov, and for the opening of the match you have is Danny Limelight versus Jordan Clearwater. Pretty impressive opening of the match. There was a lot of back and forth going on, which you have is Jordan Clearwater did a sidestep to Danny Limelight into the turnbuckle. Then Clearwater did duck a clothesline from Danny Limelight, followed by Clearwater with a leaping neckbreaker for the 2 counts. Clearwater with a heavy body shot after Danny Limelight did the mid kick. Then, of course, more back and forth action. Clearwater catches Limelight in mid-air, connects with the running power slam for the 2 counts. Then Clearwater did the spine buster for another 2 counts. That's when Limelight did a side step to Clearwater into the turnbuckle pad. And then he did the apron and zinguri, followed by a symbiotic DDT to pick up the victory. So that was a pretty good showcase match for Danny Limelight. He kind of reminds me of Rocky Romero, though. Kind of hint of it, too. But he's I don't know, you guys. I kind of get the feeling that Danny Limelight and Rocky Romero are related. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, or maybe, I don't know, I've seen 2-2, though. But anyway, so another match you have is the 8-man tag match you have is the team of TJP, ACH, Carl Frederick, and Clark Connors versus Mysterioso, Barry Brown, Blake Christian, and Adrian Quest. So that was a pretty impressive 8-man tag match that I was pretty, more drawn in. Everybody did shine together. They were mega superstars. So you have ACH did drop Blake Christian with the running shoulder tackle, followed by ACH did leapfrog over Blake Christian until he dropped down to the canvas, and then he did the Hurricanrana, followed by a 2 jackknife edge chop to Christian until he reversed it with the Irish whip. Then a drop kick, and then you have is TJP with 2 uppercuts to Blake Christian, but he reversed out to the Irish whip, followed by a chin breaker. It's very incredible movesets from each of these guys. Mysterioso did dive over TJP's, then goes for a roll up through drop kick, but then TJP did counter with the spine buster. Of course, Clark Connors with the usual Boston Crab, kind of the main moveset for the New Japan LA Young Lions. And then Mysterioso with the 3 sharp elbow strikes until Connors did counter with a German suplex, but then Mysterioso did lands back on the feet, and then he did a clothesline until he super kick Connors, followed by connect with the MSO to pick up the victory. So the team of Mysterioso, Bear Brown, Blake Christian, and Adrian Quest won the match. I was very impressed with all the contenders, especially Adrian Quest himself. Like I said in the past episode, I did see him live at APW back in November of last year, and I feel like he's going to be shining the most during the whole US run of New Japan Pro Wrestling during this time, and he is going on top. Bear Brown, he did impress a lot of me, especially with his more of a heavy moonset. Blake Christian, I've seen his matches at GCW, like I've seen on Fight TV. He did press the hell out of me, and especially Mysterioso as well. Anyway, you guys, so we're going to go head on to the main event match, which is Chase Owens versus former Lucha Underground / WWE superstar and current Ring of Honor star, PJ Black. I was pretty impressed with this match. Who would have thought that you'll see Chase Owens and PJ Black facing on? I was pretty blown away by this match. So you had is Chase Owens put a foot on the bottom rope, trying to force the break from PJ Black's armbar, and then of course Chase Owens with the running forward smash, followed by a slam through of PJ Black's head to the turnbuckle, and he repeatedly stomp on his chest over and over. And then of course PJ Black with the head scissors takeover, followed by a slingshot Prosecco. And then, of course, you have is PJ Black with a leapfrog over Owen, but then he counter for a hip toss. Then a lot of back and forth going on for it too. It's kind of more of a cruiserweight type of style match that you've seen, but this is a whole high elevation between these two guys too. Yeah, PJ Black with the spinning heel kick, followed by the rolling elbow. And then he did try to do the running cross body block. Then again with the crossbody. And then he connect with the springboard moonsault for the first one. But then second time he tried until Chase Owens got his knees up in the air. And then Owens did try to attempt to do the jewel heist for the two until the 2 count. Owens with the knee lift. And then he planted PJ Black with the package pile driver to pick up the victory. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the episode of New Japan Strong. And I was pretty impressed with the episode. It's just like your regular standard New Japan Pro Wrestling matches, because I know we're coming off from the New Japan Cup USA, especially you have what happened afterwards between Kenta and Jeff Cobb, and what's going to be happening with the IWGP United States title and whatnot. There is a lot of endless possibility going on. However, I am going to be briefly touching base on the whole situation with Jon Moxley and the IWGP United States when I'm going to be doing the prediction for AEW's All Out, because I think that's going to be kind of one of the motive. I know I'm giving previews, you guys, of my prediction, but I think it needs to be something to address it and said and done to see what's going to happen if it comes to turn between New Japan and AEW. I'm just saying, people. Anyway, so we have is the matches has been announced for the Fighting Spirit Unleashed. So you have is a tag team match where Clark Connors and the DKC will be taking on Alex Zane, and making his New Japan Pro Wrestling debut, former WWE superstar, Mr. No Days Off himself, Fred Rosser, formerly known as Darren Young. Fun fact, he's a really nice guy. I talked to him for 5 minutes at a last APW show back in November of last year, but digress on it. But he's a really nice, cool guy. Just want to let y'all know. Anyway, and then after that you have is Carl Fedor will be taking on Mysterioso. Brody King will be taking on Hikuleo. And for the main event match that I've been mentioning, Flip Gordon will be taking on Jay White. So that is the matches that's going to be taking place this Friday at New Japan Pro Wrestling Fighting Spirit Unleashed. And you guys can check it out on New Japan World. With that being said, let's go ahead and touch base briefly about the status of the IWGP Junior Tag Team Champion. So as you guys know, there has been a post-conference after the whole Jinkyu Stadium New Japan Pro Wrestling Summer Struggle finale. They hold a press conference and they did announce the status of the IWGP Junior Tag Team. So, Sho and Yo has been the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion since they won the title at Wrestle Kingdom. Unfortunately, at the New Japan Cup Round 1, Yo sustained an injury where he has a torn ACL, and unfortunately he has to be out to 6 months to a year. So therefore, with the decision for Roppongi 3K and New Japan Pro Wrestling, Sho and Yo have to vacate the title. So it is unfortunate that has been happening, but it is for the sake of how long Yo is gonna be after a while. But Sho did read a letter to what Yo wrote, and it said, "I'll be back." So with that being said, there is going to be a tournament that's going to be going on during the road to the G1 Climax. And it's going to be by point system, you guys. Just like with the whole G1 Climax. Just saying. So the 4 team has been participating for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship tournament. Which you have is representing the main unit. You have is Ryusuke Taguchi and Master Wato. And for representing LIJ, you have is Bushi and Himaru Takahashi. Representing Bullet Club, Gato and Taiji Ishimori. Ooh, so I'm guessing Taiji 2 belts. Okay. Anyway, and for representing Suzuki-gun, El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. That is right. These are the 4 teams that's going to be competing. But I'm just going to pick, who are my 2 picks that's going to be going to the finals. So I'm thinking, for the finals, it's obviously going to be LIJ versus Suzuki-gun. And for my overall pick for this is, of course, I'm going to see El Desperado and Kanemaru to be the new IWGP Junior Tag Team Champion. I mean, yeah, if they won it, that means all the members of Suzuki-gun will be holding the gold. You have is Minoru Suzuki won the Never Openweight Champion at Jinkyu Stadium. You have is Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi to they retain the IWGP Tag Team Champion. Why not have El Desperado and Kanemaru winning the Junior Tag Team? That's gonna be more giving most of the dominance for Suzuki-gun. So that is gonna be something that I would like to see going forward. So yeah, you guys, so this is my overall thoughts or what is going on. I want to know who you guys would like to see the Junior Heavyweight Champion. I know that it's only just 4 teams combined, but this is something temporarily during this whole pandemic. And hopefully you guys, I would like to see Yo. Hopefully he'll be well enough to be ready for next year's Wrestle Kingdom. But anything can go, you guys. But sending best of luck to Yo in his speedy recovery. It is unfortunate. But anyway, you guys, with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the recap from this week's Impact Wrestling that took place on September 1st. Boy, you guys, what a surprising turn of event for this episode of Impact Wrestling. Seriously, it was very surprising, especially during this quote-unquote Tuesday Night War, since we had NXT that aired on Tuesday due to the NHL hockey playoff that's taking place tonight on Wednesday. So we'll see what's going to happen within this week and next week. So let's go ahead and recap Impact Wrestling. So the opening match you have is Sami Callihan versus Rob Van Dam with Katie Forbes. So you have his RVD and Katie Fours was still doing this entrance, which, God, their theme music is giving me a migraine. Like, I'm sorry. This is one of the least favorite entrance music I ever heard. I missed Rob Van Dam's old theme, like, Rob Van Dam, da-na-na-na-na-na, the old effing show. Yeah, that theme, you guys. I missed it a lot. But anyway. So while they steal the entrance, Sammy went attack RVD by pushing him off the ring. And as soon as the bell rang, Sammy did blew a kiss to Katie Forbes. And, Katie was pretty disgusting because, she doesn't want to deal with Sammy, of course. But it's funny throughout the match. I really like her trash talking, though. Like, she gets in his face and whatnot. I know that, having Katie on her side is kind of like a big distraction sometimes, especially with her assets. I mean, don't get me wrong, Katie, beautiful girl, especially with her body. I'm jealous, especially for her booty, though. But I'm digress, you guys. But anyway, so while Sammy was continuing on to attack RVD through the guardrails, and then you have his Katie confronting Sammy, and then that's when she was providing a distraction, showing off her assets until RVD did attack him, of course, and then he put Sammy on the top guardrail and did the spinning kick off the apron. So that was a pretty impressive move from RVD. So a lot of back and forth going on. RVD with the rolling thunder to Sammy until Sammy got his knees up. More back and forth. Sammy with a low cutter followed by the clothesline after clothesline. And then he was about to do his finisher until Katie got up in the apron with the distraction until Sammy stopped. And then he got up, confronted her. And then Katie was about to bitch slap Sammy until RVD was not having it. And he did his usual spinning kick to him. And then he did the split-legged moonsault for the 2 count. More back and forth going on until when Sammy was about to do the Canadian Destroyer, then that Rob Van Dam did the roll-up at first, but then Sammy did counter with the roll-up, and therefore Sammy Callahan take the victory. So afterwards, Katie started to trash talking Sammy as soon as she got out of the ring until Sammy did walk up to her and she trying to run away, even though she's trying to talk, being the tough girl she is. And that's when RVD did attack him, and then Katie did join attack, same with the stomp. Of course, chairs got involved, and that's when Katie brought the chairs to Rob Van Dam. RVD did place the chair, and that's when he did the stomp at first, and then Katie did the running rear view first one. Second time is with the steel chair, and I was like, dang girl, I did not know that when she did the running rear view through the chair on Sammy. I was like, did not know that her booty got so strong though. I mean, I saw her working out a lot on her Instagram story, which I have to skip through her modeling and her twerking of it, but her workout regimen was pretty impressive. I just wanted to throw it out there, you guys. And then, of course, Rob Van Dam did the boot through the chairs, and that's when the feud has ended between RVD and Sammy Callahan. I don't know what's going to happen going forward with this storyline, but I'm hoping this is the end of it once and for all, but we'll see what's going on. And, of course, you have his backstage segment with Hernandez and Falaba arm wrestling for the money, and then you have his Reno Scum came by, Falaba exit, and of course they asked Hernandez for the whole wad of cash. Hernandez made a deal to Reno Scum that if they beat Rhino in a handicap match, he could give them the wad of cash they needed, and they agree on it too. So anyway, alright, and then you have the Wrestle House segment, a big build-up match between Taya Valkyrie versus Rosemary, with this whole situation of Johnny Bravo going on, where Taya is pretty pissed that, Rosemary lied to her about, the whole situation with Johnny Bravo. And keep in mind, Taya, needed Johnny Bravo as an assistant, not a lover. I mean, hello, Taya is married to John Morrison, of course. Yeah. It's based on jealousy and more scorn for it too. So that is like the build up, and of course you have this usual Russell House segment where Crazy Steve won the blindfold match, and Johnny Swinger have to wear Crazy Steve's clothes, of course, and it's crazy. And so he got out, and everybody's laughing and stuff, and freaking Jake Diener did say that Johnny Swinger looks like the Insane Clown Posse reject member of the Insane Clown Posse, and I was like, oh my god, okay, that was kind of a bit funny. Don't get me wrong, even though I kind of listen to the Insane Clown Posse, but I'm not a fan of it. But their music was pretty dope. I just want to say that, you guys. So, alright, don't come with me, all you juggalos and juggalettes. I respect y'all, so just want to let y'all know. But yeah. And then during that, and then Tommy Dreamer did confront Johnny Bravo that because of this, he made him a special referee for the match between Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie. Which Johnny Bravo was pretty surprised because he's torn, what's going on, whether he want to continue on being Taya's assistant or just pursue his love for Rosemary, And plus, I think the last time we saw Johnny Bravo being a referee was back in 2017 until he aligned himself with John Morrison, which he used to be Johnny Impact, and Taya, when John Morrison won the Impact World Champion. Years ago, you guys. But yeah, anyway, so we have is a match between Reno Scum versus Rhino, a 2-on-1 handicap match. Right when Rhino came out to do his entrance, Reno Scum wasted no time and then started attacking Rhino. So it was a pretty much your standard handicap match. You have Rhino giving Luster a couple chops, Adam Thorstone with a dropkick, and then a standing moonsault for a 2 count. Luster with a submission hold to Rhino between the ropes, and then a diving headbutt for the 2 counts. Rhino did the gore to Luster outside of the ring. However, Adam got into the ring. He was taking off his belt, and surprisingly enough, the camera kind of drops low, and then out of nowhere, a guy that was all black and everything, and I was like, oh dear, I think I know who this is. So the Mysterio Counterman pulls down, and then he ran at him with a surprise finisher, a wake-up call, as Rhino did the gore to Luster and pick up the victory. And of course, the Mysterio Cameraman revealed to be Heath, you guys. That's right. And afterwards, Scott D'Amore came out with 2 security as Heath ran out. When the security did chase him over, Scott D'Amore got into the ring and kind of have a brief argument with Rhino. So it was kind of a pretty fun match. I'm glad Rhino won, but it's not too surprising that, he did pull a shenanigan trying to help Rhino out, but hey, it's all good, you guys, but I don't know what's going to be happening next between Reno Scum and Hernandez, y'all. We're going to have to wait and see. Anyway, you have a backstage segment where Moose is, sitting, and then the TV turned on and turned out to be EC3 with the promo from last week, which I stated the promo was his best promo he ever did, and he gave a warning shot to Moose that he better respond or else he will destroy the TNA World Champion belt. So Moose ran out of the room, and he asked a employee to see where's EC3, and if so, call the cops on him. Until, of course, the staff members said he went that way, and when Moose walked away, he unzipped the hoodie, and it said control the narrative. So pretty much he did work for EC3, so that was pretty interesting, y'all. So anyway, you have the backstage segment with the Good Brothers telling their stories to the security guards. So pretty much it's kind of a showcase of their Talking Shop podcast. And then you have the Rascals, Zachary Wentz and Desmond Xavier, or Zach and Dez, or Wentz and Dez, whichever. And they were looking for some advice to the Good Brothers since they're facing up against Ace Austin and Madman Fulton in a tag match. It was pretty interesting, but not too much of it. And then back to the Russell House segment. A lot of confrontation going on, especially this whole, who took the Diener's beer and the whole animosity. And then, of course, you have is the Deaners did confront Larry D to ask what happened, and Larry D could not recall, and that's when, of course, AC Romero did defend Larry D, and that's when, of course, the impromptu Wrestle House street fight began. Of course, Tommy Dreamer with like a WTF voice. Oh, match? He's like, match time? Instead of the yelling, match time, he's like, oh, guess match time. So yeah, so you have as an unofficial, unusual Wrestle House street fight. It was kind of like an odd street fight, but kind of like a funny moment to you guys. So it was a lot of mini brawls going on, and then Cody Deaner was about to grab the TV just to hit to Larry D until Tommy was like, don't touch the TV, and then he did give a quick plug to where to watch Impact Wrestling on Axe TV Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Western. Just wanted to let y'all know. Yeah, and so Cody Deaner did back off and then continue on to attack AC Romero, you guys. And then it got to lead to like a pinball match where you have Tommy Dreamer standing in the middle, being a referee. And then you have his Larry D and Jake Deaner kind of like brawl it out back and forth. And then Jake Deaner with the facts about that mantle or something like that. It is kind of like a weird, unusual street fight that we ever seen, of course. And then back to AC Romero and Cody Deaner, where AC did threw Cody in the wagon as he rolled him over and then picked up until Cody did the jackknife and brawl until AC did run to the elevator, and Cody don't know what to do until like he decided to go downstairs and then waited, and while he did kind of like a quick hoedown dance, waiting on AC Romero until AC got out and he's like, man, I'm smart. And then that's when Cody Deaner did attack AC. And of course, you have like more brawl. Again, Jake Deaner to Larry D. And he was about to attack him back and forth. And of course, back to AC Romero and Cody Deaner. It's so hard to keep track on like which Deaner, So AC came out and strike him and missed with the lariat while riding on a bike. And of course, Cody Deaner rode a bike, and of course he did hit by a parked car. It was pretty hilarious. More back and forth going on, and of course you have Cody Deaner found an empty bottle of beer in the bedroom, and then he's like, did you took the beer? Confronting Larry D. He's like, no. So Jake Deaner did the DDT, and then AC Romero, they came back, pushed Cody until Larry D went back to being Lawrence D, of course. And then Jake did spit out some kind of like a powdering substances to possess Larry D. Until, surprisingly enough, Su Yung came, very disappointed, until she became possessed as Su Yung. I was like, if she's going to be transforming back to Su Yung, because that's what I've been waiting for. Until like some brightness going on in the other room, they did not show what happened. So Susie came out just being herself or something until Tommy Dreamer asked Susie what happened, and Susie does not recall until Tommy glanced over to the room. We didn't see what happened, and is like, oh, okay, well, he declares Susie as the winner of the Wrestle House street fight. While he raises her hand, of course, there was like a bloody hand going on, and I was like, I guess this is going to be kind of like we're going to see almost a transformation back from Susie to Su Yung. That is one thing that I've been waiting for, you guys, for a while. But I know that we'll be seeing it right after the whole Wrestle House segment, which we'll get into that in a moment. Anyway, guys, after that you have is a tag team match between Ace Austin and Madman Fulton versus The Rascal, Dez and Wentz. So it's a lot of back and forth going on. Especially I want to give props to The Rascals who are trying their best to, trying to take out Madman Fulton for like a tall guy he is. It's like, damn, I don't know how these guys been pulled over. Like, Dez was trying to do his signature move, and then Zachary Wentz did a couple of chops to Fulton. It was a lot. And then so you have Zach did super kick. Ace Austin as Fulton ran, and of course landed on outside the ring, and then Dez did brawl up briefly to Madman Fulton, and then Zach with the double stomp, and then the Tope Super Suicida to Madman Fulton, and then Daz did his impressive dives, and then of course more back and forth until that Daz did brawl out to Fulton, while Zachary once did control Ace Austin until both guys did the 450 splash where Desmond and Xavier did landed Madman Fulton outside the ring. But then, of course, Zachary once for as a legal tag team, so it's Ace Austin. Zachary once did the 450 splash to Ace Austin to pick up the victory. That is right. And afterwards, Motor City Machine Gun came out and they did cut a promo saying that how much they're very impressed with the Rascal, especially like being the young guns in the tag team division, especially how they are the veterans, and being the Impact Tag Team Champion. So they asked if they wanted to issue a challenge to defend the tag team titles. Right when they were given the answer from Zachary and Dez, Ace Austin and Madman Fulton did surprisingly attack the Rascal until Alex Shelley and Chris Sabian did ran into the ring and made these saves. So this is kind of like we're going to be seeing a continuation between the Rascals and Mostly Machine Gun, and also this whole situation with Ace Austin and Madman Fulton. So I'm thinking we're going to be seeing kind of like a feud that's going to be going on, mainly with Madman Fulton and Ace Austin with the Motor City Machine Gun. I think that's going to be like a possibility that we're probably going to be seeing them fight up leading up to Bound for Glory. But anything can go, depends on if Motor City Machine Gun will retain the title or anything like that. But anyway, guys, so afterwards, you have a backstage segment where Deonna Purrazzo was walking over to see if everybody's ready for her black tie affair, which is like a celebratory of Deonna Purrazzo winning the Impact Knockouts champion. Of course, she was disgusted by Fallah Bahh and Gia Miller's ensemble, and of course, Willie Mack too. And then she came across Kimberly, asked her if she wanted to be a special guest MC, kind of like a curator. And of course, Kimberly was about to respond until Moose came by and asked if they see EC3, and both ladies said no, of course. And then you have a backstage segment with Rohit Raju kind of cleaning up the belt until TJP came by and asked he wanted to challenge for the X Division title. Raju said Chris Bay has a rematch clause to see if he want to have a match against him. But first, if he can, TJP needs to be the one that needs to beat Chris Bay, and if he wins, he can definitely challenge Raju for the X Division title. So they made a deal, and that's the first match has been announced. That's right, TJP versus Chris Bay. Anyway, moving on to the Wrestle House match. Taya Valkyrie versus Rosemary with Johnny Bravo as the referee. Of course, more trash talking going on between Taya and Rosemary. Of course, Taya make fun of her ensemble, saying look like an emo Hot Topic kid or something like that. And Rosemary did trash talk her, saying that Slamtown is full of imbecile. Of course, these two ladies brawl out. Of course, Taya did the super kick, then of course the running double knee on the ring post for a 2 count. More back and forth going on with these ladies. Rosemary with the spear, Taya with the spears. Both ladies are down. Of course, they both exchange super kick. It's kind of more of a back and forth action until Taya did hit with the rope to Valhalla and pick up the victory. That's right. Taya Valkyrie defeated Rosemary. It was kind of almost a 3-minute match, but not fully, It was a alright match, but not too much, because I know the winner is a winner takes all match type of deal. And afterwards, that Johnny Bravo was pretty disappointed with this whole Rosemary lost the match and whatnot, and he pulled kind of the ultimate move ever, especially for y'all gentlemen. You know what I'm talking about, especially pulling out what is gonna be an unexpected moment for a female or any significant others. He pulled out of the ring, got down to one knee, and he's about to propose to Rosemary, of course. Even though Rosemary was pretty hesitant, and they both looked by Taya Valkyrie, and she said, "It's okay." So Taya Valkyrie officially giving her blessing to Rosemary and Johnny Bravo. I told you, y'all, Taya Valkyrie has a heart, okay? That is why she is one of my favorite wrestlers. Just saying, people. Digress on it. Anyway, so Johnny Bravo did propose to Rosemary. He popped a question, and she said, you know I'm a demon, right? And she said, yes. That is right, you guys. Rosemary said yes to Johnny Bravo in a love story, of course. And then, they asked, should we go home now? Because, a lot of people has, different obligation going on, especially Kylie Ray. She's the number one contender for the Impact Knockouts title that she defeated Taya Valkyrie during the Knockouts Gauntlet match at Slammiversary. So Rosemary and Taya, they both say yes. And by the way, they did conclude that who took the dinner spear. It was actually Crazy Steve, you guys. So everybody got into the ring. They did one last Russell House pose, and then back to the Impact Zone they go, which we'll get into that in a moment. So anyway, next up you have is the black tie affair. So you have some people did dress to impress, and then you have some did not dress to impress. Let's see. Reno Scum. You know Reno Scum is going to dress to impress at a feature North Cal Hall of Fame ceremony, of course. If they dress up like that, that's going to be A-okay in everybody's book because they are the North Cal legends, y'all. Just saying, in my eyes. So, yeah, you guys. So you have Kimberly doing the introduction to Deonna Purrazzo. And by the way, she is lovely and than ever, though. And everybody booed the hell out of Deonna Purrazzo when she came out. Trey Miguel did assist her to coming up the ring and then putting the ropes down to her as she came into the ring. And that's when Deonna Purrazzo did cut a promo saying how much she did accomplish by beating Jordynne Grace not once but twice, winning the Impact Knockouts title at Slammiversary and putting into the high caliber for the 30-minute Knockouts Iron Man match. And then lo and behold, here out comes Jordynne Grace dressing the casual as ever. Jordynne Grace came out, cut a promo saying she apologized for being undressed, and she said she's not here to fight, she's here to congratulate Deonna Purrazzo, especially, kind of giving a appraisal for putting into the limit during the Iron Man match, especially, like I said, both ladies did a very incredible job with the Iron Man match, even though I did kind of say a bit negative regarding the commercial break, and I feel like it did not give more of a shine, but I give more respect to Deonna and Jordynne for putting into a high caliber of a match too. So as for Jordynne Grace did cut a promo, music hits, and oh my god, you guys, I marked the F up because Tennille Dashwood is back, y'all. That's right. And you know what's funny? Earlier this morning, I was looking through Tennille Dashwood, curious to see how is she doing, since she hasn't been in Impact Wrestling for months since the pandemic hit. Because I know that she is immunocompromised due to her past health condition she had. So it kind of made me miss Tennille Dashwood. But looking at her, she had a great time, only traveling in the Florida area. Because, she is a wanderluster, though. And during the pandemic, she could not travel, but only, in the statewide. So, yeah. So, Tennille Dashwood is officially back. Miss Everything is about her. So, she cut a promo. She said it's good to be back. And that she is ready to challenge Deonna Purrazzo for the title. And, of course, the first thing first, she said to Jordynne, I'm Tennille Dashwood. And you never beat me. And then Jordynne cut a promo and confronted Tennille's excuse me, you never beat me. And so there was kind of a back and forth argument. And then Deonna cut a promo. She said, you guys are ruining my black tie affair. And that's when she said, I'm sick and tired of you clowns. And of course, boom, with the pretty impressive special effects, I want to give command to Impact Wrestling. The Russell House crew is back, you guys. So in the ring, everybody was all shock and awe. And then Kylie was about to attack Deonna, but then Kylie had the ropes a bit down lower and Deonna rolled out. And then Kimberly was about to attack Kylie Ray until Susie grabbed the back fist. And that's when Kylie did the super kick And of course, like Kylie and Susie both standing tall, and Kylie hold on to the Impact Knockout title, but she gotta put it back, being the nice girl she is too. So yeah, y'all, the whole Russell House crew is back, and that is right. As I stated on Twitter, is now back to business. That's right. Tag team division, X division, also the Knockouts division. They have to be ready to bring their A game, especially in the Knockouts division as well. And you know what's interesting? Now we saw that Deonna and Kimberly are like working well as an alliance. Maybe seeing them as a tag team in the near future, you guys. Because I know that they've been mentioning in the past about like bringing back the Impact Knockouts tag team titles. And especially I touch base about like you have the Knockouts being a tag team now. Like you have this Kira Hogan and Tasha Steelz, Nevaeh and Jessica Havoc, Susie and Kylie Ray. Now we have Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary. I forgot about that. And then now you have Deonna Purrazzo and Kimberly. That's going to be pretty interesting. And also, the remaining people that does not have a tag team yet was Alicia Edwards, Katie Forbes, Jordan Grace, and Tennille Dashwood. That's going to be a pretty interesting outcome that's going to happen. I can picture it out. You'll have is Alicia Edwards and Katie Forbes. Of course, they're going to be teaming up because, significant others. Like, Alicia Edwards is married to Eddie Edwards. Katie Forbes is with Rob Van Dam, of course. And then you have Jordan Grace and Tennille Dashwood. They're going to be feuding back and forth. And then maybe forming some type of alliance in the near future. Like, kind of like, you hate each other and then, we're a tag team. But digress on it. It's like so many endless possibilities going on. I'm looking forward to what's going to be happening next. Anyway, you guys, so before I get into the main event of this match, and for my thoughts of it, we're going to be taking a quick commercial break, and we're going to be hearing from Philip from Chicle TV.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Philip here. Look, there are so many channels out there on YouTube that do pranks and challenges and funny videos like That Just Happened TV, Nelk, and Love Live Serve. But why don't you look up Chicle TV? Yes, Chicle TV. Chikle TV. It is a channel I started with my buddy Vinny a couple years ago, and we've done wrestling finishers in public. He's done eating challenges. We've done pranks to people. It's a whole lot of fun. When you go to YouTube, it is the thumbnail with the guy blowing the bubble. It says Chicle TV right in the bubble. And look, just sit down, relax, hop on YouTube, look up Chicle TV, and...
Ooh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Crack open a little bit of the bubbly. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Chicle TV. Like, share, subscribe. It is the freshest channel on YouTube.
Alright guys, we are back. So right after the commercial break, you have is Gia Miller interviewing Brian Myers. Your typical interview, nothing special. And then you have is the matches that have been announced for next week. So you have is the returning locker room talk, where Madison Rayne and possibly Johnny Swinger will be interviewing Susie and Kylie Ray, plus a match between TJP versus Chris Bay. And you have is the Impact Tag Team title match where Motor City Machine Guns will be taking on the Rascals, Desmond Xavier and Zachary Woods. So that's going to be the match for next week. And let's go ahead and move on to the main event match, which you have is Eddie Edwards versus Eric Young. So pretty much this match was a pretty mind-blowing match. And it was very, impressed and brutal. So you have a lot of back and forth going on. You have Eric Young with the neckbreaker off the apron for after they both rolled up for 2 counts. And then Eddie Edwards with a chop and a jab towards EY, like on the turnbuckle until EY did the submission on top of the turnbuckle until Eddie Edwards with a step-up kick, then a backpack stunner for a 2 count. And then Eddie Edwards with the chop while EY was sitting on the top rope. And that's when EY did the flying elbow for the 2 counts. Chops back and forth. This match itself, it's really crazy altogether. Especially with the whole psychology going on. You can tell that Eddie Edwards is really upset for what EY did to Rich Swann, like during Slammiversary. And after Rich Swann did declare that he is retired from in-ring competition. That's how ruthless Eric Young got by brutally attacking him. telling like he is a force of reckoning. So you can see there's like more of like a built-up anger from Eddie Edwards. So Eddie Edwards did the punch, and then the Tiger Driver 2 count, and then Eric Young did roll out of the ring as Eddie did a tope suicida, which landed on the guardrail, and that's where his knee was starting to act up a bit. And of course, you have another tope suicida from Eddie Edwards, and then EY did grab the title until the ref told him to do. So kind of like in a distraction. So he gave the title to the ref, and the ref was like putting it down, not looking that EY grabbed the helmet that he always wear, that cool looking helmet, and hit Eddie on the head. And that's when the ref turned and he was about to do the package pile driver. Y'all, Eric Young is your new Impact World Champion. Like, he did it. Like, what the hell? I was pretty much lost for words that, you know, with Eric Young doing his, like, evil antic he finally succeeded. Like, beating Eddie Edwards for the Impact World title. It was a pretty good match, even though there's, like, a bit of a botch spot, but not too much. But I can understand because Eddie Edwards was still, like, his knee was hurting. He's not sure he was about to do his Boston knee party finisher. You know, he did pull out a fight, you know, and unfortunately, he lost that fight to Eric Young. And afterwards, Eric Young did continue on to attack Eddie Edwards brutally until you have the referee and security coming out to break up the, you know, that brutal moment from EY. So I feel that with this, it's pretty much a bit too soon for Eric Young to win the Impact World title, because I was expecting him to win the title at Bound for Glory. You know, that would be the perfect opportunity for him to win, because having him winning the title on a regular Tuesday, especially kind of like a quote-unquote Tuesday Night War with WWE NXT, like, anybody is not tuning in to Impact Wrestling, it's kind of like more of kind of like a conflict going on. So I guess it is the right move. You know, I wish it would have been like something, but that's just my opinion on it. But I'm happy that EY won. He definitely deserved it. So congratulations to Eric Young for becoming the Impact World Champion. And yeah, you guys. And after the credit ends, you guys, they show Moose coming into a room, and he saw a board of pictures of himself, like, with, like, lines going across. Pictures of Moose, like, where he's living, where he's staying at the hotel. Last week's picture, leading up to pictures from today, he was looking through the picture, and he was freaking out, like, no joke. It's like you saw it on, like, a crime drama or a crime movie, where, like, you saw someone, kind of like a stalker, has, like, pictures of you, putting, like, clues by clues. Yeah, that is, like, some type of feel to it. And that was, like, a pretty impressive ending, too. Just like with Slammiversary, like, after the show ended, and that's when you have this EC3 made the appearance, like, out of nowhere. This is the type of feel that I got, too, with this continuing storyline between Moose and Eric Young. By that, I was very blown away, and that was the perfect way to conclude Impact Wrestling before their next show as well, you guys. So, it was pretty good, actually. With that being said, this week's episode of Impact Wrestling was pretty much surprising, even though it was a bit slow at start. But then again, you have, like, some surprising moments, like the returning Tennille Dashwood. Wrestle House has finally ended, so like I said, it's back in business where each of the roster has to be focused on, like, what they got to do next. And of course, the title switch during the main event match. So I was pretty blown away. And the end of the segment after the credit rolls on, too. So with that being said, my thumbs up, thumbs down of the show, I'm going to give a generous 1.5 thumbs up. I really love the execution for the storyline. The EC3 and Moose storyline, no matter how much like I have a low opinion about Moose and what's going on, but I'm a fan of this storyline altogether. Wrestle House, however, I'm glad it did ended. And I would say the best match out of all the Wrestle House segments would have to be Kylie Ray versus Taya Valkyrie at night 1 of Emergence. So that is it for the whole recap of Impact Wrestling altogether, you guys. And also the show, you guys. So thank you so much for listening to me rambling. But hey, that's what I love to do. Talk about wrestling and providing you guys some information for like events I've gone to. And also a bit of a wrestling news from New Japan Pro Wrestling sometime. I'll bring in some Impact Wrestling and independent wrestling here and there. Depends on it. But yeah. Anyway, you guys, so with that, before everything, I'm going to give you guys my plug and also where you guys can see me. So you guys can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and on my YouTube channel at simply_C_OK. You guys make sure to check out Teddy Turnbuckles on Twitter and on YouTube. And also make sure to check out Russell Joy on Twitter and YouTube channel and the website russelljoy.com. Also make sure to follow nodq.com on the website. Also Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at nodqdotcm. That's right. And also make sure to follow the Bulletcast on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the YouTube channel at the Bulletcast or simply Bulletcast. And also check out other podcasting platform, Apple, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor.fm, or any other podcasting platform as well. With that being said, you guys, that is it for now. And please remember to wash your hands 20 to 30 seconds, practice social distancing. Remember to quote Lady Gaga, wear a mask, show some respect, and remember, please be kind to one another. We're all in this together. Cheers, y'all.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.